I think that there are many reasons for the present financial situation, not the least of which is the war in Iraq, which has taken billions and billions of dollars away from the economy where it could be used for other things. The easy availability of credit for even college and high school kids has made a lot of people in debt when they're 21, 22 years old. And they've continued their life in debt, and by the time they go to be 45 or 50 years old, unless they have a wonderful job, the debt carries them all their lives and follows them. Another thing that I believe to be a problem is the fact that Wall Street went pretty much unregulated, and the amount of money, for example, that a man like Bernie Madoff could amass, no one questioned, nothing was done to him, and now that he's in jail, everybody can say it should have been done. The way that the country depends upon foreign manufacturers for businesses, cars, for example, clothing is manufactured overseas. If we could be a little bit more dependent upon only ourselves, I think we would make more money and keep more money in the United States. When you go to a country like New Zealand and you come into work, you have to have on you $1,000 in cash, a paper that says you have a job, and a full health record that goes for 16 pages. Perhaps if we did some of that and tightened up our immigration, we wouldn't have that as an issue as well.
The cause of the present economic situation is directly traceable to the philosophy of George W. Bush, who, when running for the presidency, said, "If elected, I shall run the country like a CEO and get the government off the back of business." His deregulation of the financial sector, allowing unpoliced derivatives, hedge instruments, and swaps, all helped to bring us to the brink. Occurring at the same time was the misguided policy of the FED chairman, Alan Greenspan, who kept interest rates too low, too long. These subprimes coming at a time when homeowners had maxed out credit cards and home equity loans which skyrocketed beyond the value of the now falling home prices, drove financial institutions into a liquidity position which precipitated the financial collapse.
My husband and I are fortunate to be in the decade of our 60s, during which we no longer have to work, nor do we have to put our kids through school or buy a home. So personally, our finances are okay because we worked for 35 years, or some of us, well, both of us actually worked as early teenagers, so closer to 40 years, and we were able to live through all the times, and where our highest expenses were to educate our kids, those days are over. On the flip side of that, however, the rest of society is not necessarily in that position. I worry about our 6 grandchildren. I worry about the fact that our sons will have to work extra hard to get extra money to put those 3 children each through college, because the colleges have gone the college costs have gone sky high, and the income and the ability to make money has not necessarily kept step with the cost of college. I worry about the collapse of businesses and banks and auto companies. So I think that that affects the life of the citizens of the United States. Again, not necessarily mine. We've been fortunate in that our working days are over, and we pretty much we own our own home. We have for years, so we don't have to worry about those same things.
Thankfully, my personal life has only been marginally changed. However, as for a society as a whole, it is now much more difficult to buy a new house. It's harder to get credit for a car, to start a new business, or any one of a number of other productive undertakings.
One of the first things that I would do if I were president or the ruler of the world in general is to stop the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. The billions and billions of dollars in losses of lives and the poor kids that are coming home from this war, injured, again creating financial hardship for their families and themselves for years and years to come, would end immediately if the war stopped. Another thing, and it sounds like it has nothing to do with finance, but it really does, is to try to do everything that we can do as citizens and as parents and as educators to stop teen pregnancy. Teen pregnancy causes tremendous financial loss in a child's lifetime because a 15-year-old girl has to drop out of school, has no education, cannot provide for the child, therefore the child is sort of doomed to a life less than it would have had there been financial security. The financial situation on Wall Street, they have to do better at regulating. They have to make sure that the type of thing that has gone on in the past, where a company is allowed to make huge profits and give their vice presidents and presidents Christmas bonuses of several $1 million and jets and private parties, that has to stop.
I think that it is imperative that federal legislative regulations be instituted to control the policies and behaviors of the banks, insurance companies, and financial brokerage houses, so that the wanton and reckless behavior that brought us to the brink this past time be prevented in the future.